parents and teachers could be working more closely together in Rock Hill schools. Tonight, district leaders will present a new plan to the school district's board that they hope will involve parents, teachers, and administrators in the disciplinary process. WBTV's Rachel Richardson live tonight after speaking with parents in the area. Rachel.
Well, I spoke with parents that were very encouraged by the idea of getting more involved in their students' education and behavior in schools. And district leaders explained to me that this matrix was developed based on existing codes of conduct and guidelines to make disciplinary action more uniform from school to school. At Tuesday night's Rock Hill Schools board meeting, the district's School Innovation and Student Development Division will present a new discipline matrix for grades K through 12. This plan, which was developed from September to November of this year, outlines discipline consequences for student behavior.
So our main goal is to ensure that our kids are in school, that we are providing the support they need. But if not, we have a very consistent process aligned to our code of conduct and our board policies.
Parents I spoke with believe that discipline starts at home. They like the idea of the district working more closely with families.
Just being more involved with the children at home, not just in school.
But I really think it's the parents' job to really take the first step and learn what their kids are doing and how their teacher wants them to act and wants them to be in school.
Parents also feel that increased communication could help improve children's behavior long term.
I think teachers need time in the day so that they can communicate with students and parents so that that open line is always there.
We know that in schools every day when we look at where kids are doing and how they learn, sometimes discipline does occur, and so we want to make sure that we're reducing that as we use this process.
Rock Hill Schools' disciplinary numbers have gone down over the last 5 years in certain areas. The district explained that there are levels of disciplinary action based on students' infraction at the elementary, middle, and high school levels. Administrators, teachers, and parents will get the chance to participate in trainings on the guidelines in December and January.
We want to give teachers the autonomy, the authority to deal with their classroom management as well, but if not, we have levels 1, 2, and 3 that aligns to our code of conduct where you can have progressive support and also discipline consequences.
This plan will go into effect on January 12th, and more information about the matrix and about those trainings will be available on our website, WBTV.com. In Rock Hill, Rachel Richardson, WBTV, on your side.
All right, Rachel, thank you.